You know, we Americans still depend on the Middle East from an economic standpoint to provide us with a huge amount of oil, and oil runs our country. It runs the economy of the United States. We all are reminded of that as we drive in to fill up our vehicles on a regular basis. What we have seen over the last several years is uprisings take place, beginning in Tunisia and spreading all across the Arab world. It's called the Arab Spring. Well, right now we're looking at a second phase of the Arab Spring taking place in Egypt. We have just seen a military coup take out a democratically elected president in Egypt, and that president be replaced with the military. What happened was that enough people in Egypt were dissatisfied with that democratically elected president, and they did not see an improvement in their economy. They did not see any improvement in their lives and the future of their children, and therefore they became very upset with President Morsi, who was elected by the people of Egypt. The military has stepped in to prevent unnecessary violent activity taking place in Egypt, and unfortunately we have seen just the opposite. We have seen violent activity as a result of that military coup. Also, we're looking at problems in Syria that are continuing. Bashar Assad, who is the leader of Syria, has murdered in excess of 100,000 innocent people over the last several years. The United States, unfortunately, has sat by and done nothing. That's not the way the United States normally operates. We've got to keep our eye on both these situations, and as the Vice Chairman of the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, I get regular briefings about what's happening in both of these countries. Should the United States participate in trying to help resolve these uprisings? Well, we don't need to inject our philosophy. We don't need to inject our opinions into every situation of conflict around the world. But when it has a direct interest in the lives of Americans, I do think it is necessary that we do everything we can to try to see that these kinds of conflicts are brought to a peaceful conclusion. That requires leadership from the White House all the way down. We as members of the United States Senate, as well as members of the U.S. House of Representatives, have an obligation, particularly from an oversight standpoint, to ensure that the administration and our government is doing everything we can to work with our colleagues and our friends, particularly in the Arab world, to try to make sure that there is some resolution of these conflicts and that it is done in a peaceful way. I look forward to continuing to dialogue with you on all of these issues on a regular basis going forward. In the meantime, God bless you, and may God continue to bless our great country.